Chapter 2949. Run Run. This is the strongest godly weapon of the last hell epic, 6 Paths of Reincarnation. One of the evil gods seemed to have thought of something and couldn't help but cry out in fear. This is a terrifying divine artifact that can easily suppress even demon gods, crushing them into scraps of flesh and blood. It is said that it contains the supreme power of the reincarnation cycle of the universe. Once it is activated, it will produce the power of the universe's epoch. It thought of the legends of the 6 Paths of Reincarnation and was terrified. Impossible. Didn't they say that the 6 Paths of Reincarnation was destroyed? How can this godly weapon still exist? What kind of joke is this? One of the evil gods couldn't believe it. He heard that this godly weapon was destroyed during the war with the immortal universe and disappeared into the eternal chaos. How can a godly weapon be destroyed so easily? Even if it is destroyed, it can be restored. This kid must have obtained the strongest godly weapon of hell, the 6 Paths of Reincarnation. That's why he is so arrogant. Damn, we were tricked. We really were tricked. No wonder this kid is so fearless. He is relying on the power of this godly weapon. Retreat, retreat immediately. Return to the fiend god universe. This kid isn't someone we can deal with. Only the sovereign level evil gods can kill him. The evil gods were terrified. They could feel the terrifying power of the 6 Paths of Reincarnation. It hadn't even appeared yet, but they could feel their flesh, souls, and even their godheads being destroyed. So. The evil gods no longer had any will to fight. They wished their parents could give them 2 more legs. All they wanted was to escape back to the fiend god universe. But it was too late for them to escape. Because under Xiaoping's control, the 6 Paths millstone came crashing down. The heavenly Tao, animal Tao, ghost Tao, Azura Tao, human Tao, and the other Taos revolved around each other, creating the power of life and death, yin and yang. The 6 Paths of Reincarnation power even surged out from the 6 Paths of Reincarnation, as if it wanted to destroy everything and return them to chaos. Hong Long, in an instant, the 6 Paths of Reincarnation mercilessly came crashing down and smashed into the evil gods. Ah! Immediately the evil gods let out shrill cries like pigs being slaughtered. They could feel their bodies being destroyed by the 6 Paths of Reincarnation. As soon as they made contact, the terrifying power of the 6 Paths of Reincarnation crushed over. All the lesser gods were instantly killed. They were instantly turned into a bloody mist and turned into ashes. As for gods, they were able to hold on for a period of time. But every time the 6 Paths grindstone spun, it was as if the universe was changing its reincarnation cycle. The terrifying reincarnation power continued to circulate and the terrifying chaos aura destroyed everything in its path. And then, in the span of a few breaths, the god was crushed into minced meat as well. The remaining high gods were barely able to resist. They tried their best to circulate the divine power in their bodies and even tried to escape. But doing so would be futile. Crash, the 6 Paths millstone produced waves of terrifying devouring power. In an instant, the high gods were sucked into the 6 Paths millstone. It was like grinding soybean milk. The power of primal chaos and reincarnation would be produced from within, and it would obliterate the power of the great Tao laws and countless magical techniques of the higher gods. No. Spare me. Spare us. We won't dare. We won't dare anymore. Spare us. We promise that we will never invade the infernal realm again. Please spare our lives. The evil gods screamed. They were terrified to the extreme. Only after they were sucked into the 6 Paths millstone did they realize how terrifying this divine weapon was. After they entered, the 6 Paths grindstone spun and crushed them again and again. The endless chaos aura crushed everything in its path. Even when they were awake, they were crushed into minced meat by the power of the 6 Paths of Reincarnation. It was more painful than any torture in the world. Xiaoping had no intention of showing mercy. He was only borrowing the power of the Hell World Source energy to make the 6 Paths grindstone unleash such terrifying power. Once he lost the support of the Hell World Source energy, his own power would be reduced to its original state. He would not be a match for these higher gods. Therefore, while they were weak, it was best to kill them all at once. Moreover, the words of these evil gods could not be trusted. Those who were not of the same race were bound to have different intentions. Rumble, under Xiaoping's full power, the 6 Paths grindstone spun crazily, producing terrifying reincarnation power and chaos power. Kacha. Dong. In the next second, these higher gods could not withstand it at all. They were crushed into minced meat and even their souls were obliterated. Floating in the void were lumps of flesh and blood of the evil gods, as well as the godhoods they left behind after they died. as expected of the 6 paths grindstone. It's so strong. Xiaoping exclaimed. He felt his body weakening. In fact, if it wasn't for the support of the entire universe's source energy, he would not be able to use the full power of the 6 paths grindstone. Moreover, after using it once, he lost more than 90% of his arcane energy. He felt weak like never before. If he were to use it again, he might not be able to withstand it. But no matter what, all the evil gods that invaded the hell world were killed. In a short period of time, no evil gods would dare to invade the hell world. How is this possible? Lord, evil gods are all dead? What is going on? How can the demons of the hell world be so terrifying? Run, hurry up and run. We can't stay in the hell world any longer. Go back now. Go back and report to the ruler. Send this news back immediately. A terrifying god has appeared in the hell world with overwhelming combat strength. At this moment, the void monsters were scared out of their wits at the sight of this. It was just one strike and all the evil gods were obliterated. They couldn't even escape. How terrifying was this combat strength? Even the evil god was so easily killed by this devil. Then wouldn't they, small shrimps, be crushed to death by this devil in a matter of minutes? So. In the blink of an eye, the void monsters fled in fright, not daring to stay where they were at all. They all ran back to their lairs in disorder. Then, they panicked and charged into the spacetime tunnel that connected the hell world and the evil god universe. These void monsters didn't even look back as they all ran back to the evil god universe. But at this moment, under Xiaoping's orders, all the demons started to attack the nests of the void monsters. They wanted to destroy the spacetime tunnel that connected to hell. Chapter 2950. Rumble. In an instant, under Xiaoping's attack and the attacks of the demons, the entire nest of the void monsters was destroyed. All the void monsters were killed before they could escape. Even the spacetime tunnel was destroyed by Xiaoping's punch. No void monsters could enter the Hades world from the evil god universe anymore. Even if they wanted to build a new spacetime tunnel, it would take a long time. The evil gods would not be able to come from the evil god universe in a short period of time. The evil gods had suffered heavy losses in this war. More than 300 evil gods had died in the Hades world, and there were many superior gods among them. The Hades world is evolving? Xiaoping could feel the source of the entire Hades world cheering. After he killed the many evil gods and destroyed the spacetime tunnel, its source energy had increased rapidly. The nest of the void monsters was like a tumor in the human body, constantly devouring the source energy of the Hades world. Now that the nest of the void monsters had been eradicated, it was like the tumor had been eradicated, and the Hades world had recovered its health. At the same time, the death of the many evil gods and void monsters had left their source energy in the Hades world, increasing the source energy of the Hades world and accelerating its evolution. He could sense that after the death of the evil gods, the source energy of the Hades world seemed to have increased by 3 times, and the speed at which the Hades world increased its source energy was increasing at a speed visible to the naked eye. This? Xiaoping's eyes lit up. After killing the evil gods and void monsters, he had also absorbed a huge amount of energy from them. Instantly, he felt the golden crow of hell bloodline in his body awakening. 100 million, 10 billion, 100 billion, 1 trillion. He had already awakened 95 trillion golden crow of hell cells in his body. Now that he had benefited from the flesh and blood of these evil gods and void monsters, his cells were awakening even more rapidly. 96 trillion, 97 trillion, 98 trillion, 99 trillion. In the end, he had awakened a total of 100 trillion golden crow hell cells. It could be said that at this moment, all the golden crow of hell cells in the depths of his body had awakened completely, and the golden crow of hell bloodline had also been awakened, fusing into Xiaoping's limbs and bones. It was as if the golden crow of hell had been resurrected in the Hades world. He has completely awakened his bloodline. Xiaoping could feel that his body was filled with the energy of the golden crow of hell. Every cell in his body had transformed into the cells of the golden crow of hell. They were like dark golden suns, burning with eternal heat. With his body as the center, the area within 100 trillion light years was enveloped by his aura, forming an absolute demon god domain. Endless dark golden flames were burning fiercely. Vaguely, a golden crow of hell was born in the depths of the void. It burned with the flames of hell and the flames of the golden crow, seemingly intertwining with the power of the law of death and the law of life. It was like a super demon god formed from laws, containing an incredible power of the demon god, as if it was a terrifying creature formed from the interweaving of life and death. At this moment, Xiaoping's entire body had turned into flames. It was as though he had turned into an elemental life form. His flesh and elemental energy were constantly interchanging, containing the utmost profound mysteries of life. This is the memory of the Golden Crow of Hell. In an instant, Xiaoping seemed to have sensed the deepest memories of the Golden Crow of Hell's bloodline. It was a bloodline inheritance, which was also the memory of the previous Golden Crow of Hell. Immediately, these memories flashed continuously in the depths of his sea of consciousness like a movie. He saw the life of the Golden Crow of Hell. The Golden Crow of Hell continuously fought in hell. Just its own power alone could overwhelm and burn everything. Countless demon gods died tragically in its hands. It had a valiant battle record and was ferocious. It had mastered the power of the law of life and death. It was the only special demon god in hell, enough to make even demon gods tremble in fear. It had suppressed as many planes of hell as the eternal sands. Even the Lord of Hell was forced to acknowledge its status and be on equal footing with the Lord of Hell. Every plane of hell had a sun condensed from the power of the Golden Crow of Hell. It had directly become the only sun of hell, shining for eternity and supreme. It had also lived 9 lives in the hell world, and it had also made great contributions. It could be said to have outstanding military achievements. However, the invincible hell world had finally met its match, and that was the immortal universe. It was a super universe that was not inferior to the hell world. That universe had given birth to many powerful immortals, each of whom wielded immortal artifacts and were invincible. At the same time, the Celestial the Arch of the immortal universe was also invincible. He wielded the investiture of the gods, the Celestial Thearch's Jade Seal, the God-striking whip, and other supreme divine artifacts. Even the Lord of Hell was somewhat inferior to him. Originally, these two super-universes were afraid of each other and lived in harmony. However, one day they fought over an item, starting an epic war that led to the destruction of both universes. Countless immortals and demon gods fought. The Celestial the Arch and the Lord of Hell started a war. Both sides fought until the heavens collapsed and the earth cracked. The battle between the 6 paths of reincarnation and the investiture of the gods was a clash between two supreme divine artifacts. Immortals and demon gods fell one after another. Even the Celestial the Arch and the Lord of Hell couldn't bear the losses of the war. The resources of both universes were exhausted, and in the end both universes collapsed. Many demon gods and immortals perished together. The Celestial the Arch and the Lord of Hell also collapsed at the same time. Even the Golden Crow of Hell and many powerful immortals died together. As a result, the two super-universes were obliterated in the long river of history. Primal Chaos Enlightenment Stone. Xiaoping's eyes lit up. He immediately knew what the gods of the two universes were fighting over. It was the Primal Chaos Enlightenment Stone. This was a supreme treasure born from the depths of chaos. Legend had it that as long as one controlled the Primal Chaos Enlightenment Stone, they would be able to comprehend the 3,000 great Tao laws and ascend to the realm of creation God. One could imagine how crazy the Celestial the Arch and the Lord of Hell were after hearing about this. In order to fight over this treasure, they fought each other at all costs. This was because they had lived a total of 9 lives. 9 was the extreme number, which was basically the limit of the universe. No matter how hard they tried, they couldn't live a 10th life. If none of them could ascend to the realm of creation God, then when the time was up, all the gods would be destroyed along with the universe. They would be completely trapped in the cycle of reincarnation and turned into ashes. Because of this, the Celestial the Arch and the Lord of Hell fought for the position of creation God. The two super-universes had an earth-shattering battle. It was a battle that shook the heavens and cracked the earth. In the end, no one gained the upper hand. Chapter 2951. Hold on. Xiaoping's eyes flashed. From the final memories of the Golden Crow of Hell, he learned that the Primal Chaos Enlightenment Stone was obtained by the Golden Crow of Hell. It was taken to Hell and buried in a graveyard. Although Hell had undergone samsara, the demon god's graveyard wouldn't be destroyed along with it. Without a doubt, the Primal Chaos Enlightenment Stone that caused the destruction of two super-universes was still hidden in Hell. His breathing quickened. If he obtained the Primal Chaos Enlightenment Stone, then wouldn't he have a chance to reach the creation god realm, a realm that had never been seen since time immemorial? It had to be known that not even the celestial emperor of the immortal universe or the former ruler of Hell had reached such a supreme realm. If he could succeed, then he would surpass all of eternity, surpass everything. Rumble, before Xiaoping could think of this, the entire Hell was shrouded in a massive tribulation cloud. It was boundless and incomparably vast. It was clear that after he inherited the Golden Crow of Hell's bloodline, he triggered the final tribulation thunder. And this tribulation thunder shook the entire hell and affected the entire universe. In other words, no matter where he went in hell, he would be struck by this tribulation thunder. There was nowhere to hide, nowhere to hide. 3,000 layers of death god thunder. Xiaoping looked up. He could feel the thick tribulation cloud crazily gathering together, brewing 3,000 layers of tribulation thunder. And this tribulation thunder wasn't just ordinary tribulation thunder. It was death god thunder. This was tribulation lightning condensed from the law of death. Every tribulation lightning of death contained a terrifying power of death. Even if a god was struck by a tribulation lightning of death, he or she would be beaten half to death or even perish. 3,000 layers of death god thunder would strike down. Even a superior god would be struck to death. One could imagine how terrifying this tribulation thunder was. It was absolutely an unprecedented tribulation. It was designed to strike down a monstrous genius who inherited the bloodline of the primordial demon god of the last universe. Come. Xiaoping clenched his fists. He had no fear in his heart. If it were before, he would have been afraid of the death god thunder. But now that he had completely awakened the golden crow of hell's bloodline, his soul power, dermic power, and physical strength had been enhanced exponentially. It was as if he had obtained the golden crow's demon god's body of hell. It could be said that his chi seemed to have transformed into the demonic power of the golden raven of hell. Every move he made was filled with terrifying power. He was practically invincible. How could he be afraid of the divine thunder of death? Moreover, he could feel that as long as he survived this death god lightning, he would be able to advance to the sovereign realm, becoming the first sovereign realm god of this era. It's just as well. I'll absorb all of the death god lightning's energy and use it to advance to sovereign realm. Xiaoping was so excited that he could feel every cell in his body boiling. At this moment, he had obtained the source energy of the modern world universe. He had also obtained the source energy of hell world. He had even devoured the source energy of many evil gods. Now he was devouring the energy of the death god lightning. Regardless of how much energy was needed to advance to the sovereign god realm, just this amount of energy was more than enough. In fact, it could even be said to be more than enough. Dong dong dong. In an instant, the dark death god lightning struck down. It contained extremely terrifying death energy. It was as if it wanted to destroy all life. Quick, retreat quickly. We can't stay in the tribulation clouds. Retreat immediately. Don't disturb Master. A demigod evil demon couldn't help but shout. He immediately ordered the surrounding evil demons to retreat. Otherwise, if they were dragged into the tribulation lightning, they would be struck to death. After all, if they were to get involved in such a heavenly tribulation, it was equivalent to provoking the heavens and earth. They would definitely be struck to death by the tribulation lightning. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Hearing this, many evil demons were so scared that they peed their pants. They quickly retreated billions of light years away. They didn't dare to stay there for fear of being struck to death by the death god lightning. This is too terrifying. What kind of tribulation lightning is this? Why haven't I heard of it before? A demigod evil demon was shocked. His hair stood on end. He could feel the death god lightning in the depths of the tribulation clouds. They contained extreme death energy. It was enough to make him shudder. If such a death god lightning struck down, it would be enough to turn him into ashes and cease to exist. If I'm not wrong, this might be the death god lightning. It is one of the strongest types of tribulation lightning in hell. It is condensed from the power of the law of death and contains terrifying death energy. Once hit, even a demon god will be severely injured or even die, an ancient evil demon said in a deep voice. An ancient demon said in a deep voice. It had once seen similar information in the ancient records of a demon god's ruins, but it never imagined that it would encounter it. Master will be fine, right? Many demigod evil demons were worried. After all, this was a terrifying tribulation lightning that could seriously injure even a demon god. It contained extreme death energy. One could imagine its destructive power. Moreover, Master hadn't even ascended to the god realm. How could he withstand such death god lightning? Don't worry. Master has always been struck by lightning like this. He's already used to it. Although the death god lightning this time is terrifying, it shouldn't be able to do anything to Master. A demigod evil demon was very confident in Xiaoping. Hearing this, many evil demons were speechless. Always being struck by lightning? Why did this sentence sound so wrong? What kind of existence would be struck by lightning all the time? This was too strange, wasn't it? Dong. At this moment, thousands of death god lightning struck down at the same time, almost drowning Xiaoping's body. The surrounding void of hell for tens of thousands of light years turned into a sea of death god lightning. Any living creature that got close to this sea of death god lightning was instantly struck into ashes. However, Xiaoping didn't dodge. He opened his mouth and created a terrifying black hole, swallowing all the death god lightning into his stomach. Immediately, his power rose at a speed visible to the naked eye. Even though he was struck by the death god lightning, he was still unharmed. Instead, he was growing stronger. Too strong. As expected of Master. He's safe and sound even after being struck by the death god lightning. That goes without saying. Master is an evil demon blessed by the origin of hell. He'll definitely become the strongest demon god in the future. How can he be struck by a mere death god lightning? Don't joke around. Looks like the tribulation lightning this time is over. Even the death god lightning couldn't kill Master. Master is too monstrous. Many demigod evil demons discussed. All of them were amazed and shocked, but at the same time they felt that this was a matter of course. Chapter 2952. In the blink of an eye, 7 days and 7 nights had passed. Xiaoping had also been struck by the 3,000 lightning bolts of death for 7 days and 7 nights. At the same time he had swallowed the 3,000 lightning bolts of death and obtained an enormous amount of origin energy. At this moment he sensed that his soul and his magic power had almost reached the limit of the demigod realm. There was no way for him to continue expanding it. If he wanted to continue expanding he had to ascend to the god realm. Endless great path laws gathered in the depths of his sea of consciousness. These great path laws gathered naturally as if they were about to condense into a godhead. Am I going to ascend? Xiaoping's eyes lit up. He sensed that if he wanted to, he could immediately control the Quetzalcoatl god's sovereign godhead, or the Golden Crow's godhead of hell, or even the true demon god's godhead. These godheads were traceable and could be easily copied without any danger. But if he did so, it would be equivalent to walking on someone else's path, which would greatly limit his future. If he wanted to ascend to the god realm, he still had to walk on his own path. Otherwise, he would forever be stuck at the ruler realm and would never be able to advance any further. What kind of power do I want to condense? What kind of godhead do I want to condense? Xiaoping clenched his fists and fell into deep thought, thinking about his own path. Boom, at this moment he had a flash of inspiration. He remembered the Book of Illusions and the endless illusory spells he was proficient in. He was most proficient in the power of illusions. The god realm path he wanted to walk was to turn illusions into reality and reality into illusions. He wanted to master the power of illusions and reach the supreme realm of illusions into the kingdom of the true self. He wanted to get rid of his bloodline and all the divine abilities and secret arts he had learned. Only his soul was his essence. I see. Xiaoping was neither happy nor sad. He seemed to be in an epiphany. Whoosh, at this moment, the 9 clones on his body instantly merged into one. The origin doppelganger technique had reached the supreme realm, origin unification. More than 2,000 great path laws appeared in the depths of his sea of consciousness. They combined with each other and produced trillions of changes, condensing into incredible ruler's authority. Rumble, in an instant, boundless Grand Tao laws converged together, and they seemed to have condensed into crystals of the Grand Tao that were suffused with boundless information and unimaginable might. However, condensing a sovereign rank godhead required an enormous amount of origin energy. Fortunately, Xiaoping had obtained a large amount of origin energy from the modern universe. Then he added the origin energy from the infernal world, the god of death lightning, the origin energy of many evil gods, and even the origin energy of countless furnace sorcerers from the evil god universe. When all these origin energies were added together, it was simply terrifying. Immediately, the origin energy poured into the Great Path Crystal like an ocean. Originally, the Great Path Crystal was illusory. However, after obtaining the origin energy, it actually turned illusory into reality. This illusory godhead seemed to be on the verge of materializing. His soul also fused with the godhead. Boom, after an unknown amount of time, the illusory godhead devoured all of the origin energy, and the godhead was successfully condensed. Promotion, I'm a ruler. Xiaoping's eyes shone with a frightening light. He sensed his 9 great clones fusing, countless Grand Tao laws fusing into one, and his essence, energy and spirit condensing. With the help of a large amount of origin energy, he finally condensed a sovereign rank godhead. Condensing a godhead meant grasping the authority of gods, grasping many Grand Tao laws and wielding authority. If the immortals of the immortal universe called this so-called godhead, they would call it the origin Tao fruit. Some Buddhist universes also called it the Buddha Sarira. No matter what, it was the crystallization of grand Tao laws, containing infinite mysteries, infinite might and infinite power. This is a godhead? Xia Ping clenched his fists, simply unable to be any more excited. He sensed that his godhead had a hexagonal shape, which was different from any godhead he had seen before. It was like a crystal, showing transparent dreamy colors, containing incredible power. His soul had long since fused with this godhead. The moment the godhead condensed, his body also underwent earth-shattering changes. Firstly, the magic power on Xia Ping's body had completely transformed. From magic power, it had transformed into godly power. This was a power that only gods could possess. A strand of god power was countless times stronger than magic power, world power, and life and death power. It was like the power of grand Tao, containing unparalleled destructive power and the power of creation. Second, his bloodline had also undergone earth-shattering changes, completely transforming into the bloodline of a true god, no longer the bloodline of a mortal. His god blood contained the power of immortality. If a drop fell, it would maintain eternal activity, unless the life force was exhausted, otherwise a drop of god blood would last for eternity, simply an immortal substance. At the same time, the blood contained a strong corrosive power. If an ordinary creature approached it, it would naturally be corroded, thus becoming a dependent of a god, obtaining the bloodline of a god and grasping great power. Therefore, the more favored a creature was by a god, the more power they would obtain from the god's bloodline, and the more terrifying their talent would be. The appearance of godhead, god blood, god bones, god power, and other changes meant that Xia Ping had completely advanced, from a mortal to a mythical creature. His body emitted the aura of an immortal god. Is this a god? Xia Ping's eyes lit up. After advancing to the sovereign realm, the degree to which his strength had increased could not be described with just a few times. It was simply immeasurable. If a comparison had to be made, it was like a three-dimensional creature evolving into a four-dimensional creature, no longer on the same level, and he had become a sovereign realm god. This was an existence that far surpassed all ordinary gods, dominating everything and sweeping everything in its path. At this moment he also understood why they were called sovereigns. They were existences that higher gods could not compare to. First, the range of his divine sense could no longer be described in terms of light years. It could cover the entire universe in an instant. It could be said that every corner of the entire universe, inside and out, could be clearly sensed by him. Even if an enemy fled to the end of the universe, they could not hide from his senses. Moreover, as long as he sensed them, he could instantly teleport from the extreme north of the universe to the extreme south of the universe with a single thought. This was the power of a sovereign, omnipotent, commanding countless gods, and sweeping everything in its path. Chapter 2953. If that was all, it wouldn't have mattered. But Xia Ping could sense how terrifying a sovereign's power was. Too weak. Xia Ping couldn't help but sigh. In the past, if he wanted to destroy a high-level plane of hell, he would have needed to use his full strength and even a divine artifact. But now he didn't need to. With a light finger he could destroy a high-level plane of hell. Only the demonic god plane might be able to resist for a while, but it wouldn't last for long. In the face of his sovereign lord's god power, everything in hell was as fragile as paper. His breath could transform into a boundless primal chaos storm that swept through everything and annihilated everything. His gaze could see through everything. Wherever his gaze reached, everything would turn into nothingness. His ears could hear the voices of all living beings. Any being that mentioned his god name would be sensed and locked onto, leaving behind their coordinates. A single flicker of his thoughts could form a terrifying mental storm that could turn countless illusion masters into lunatics. He could even easily distort the laws of the great Tao and change the laws of heaven and earth. No mortal could move in front of him. Even a glance would cause them to go crazy. At this time he recalled what he had done in the Fiend God universe. Luckily, he had escaped quickly and left before those sovereign-level evil gods had awakened. Otherwise, if those evil gods had awakened, he wouldn't have been able to escape. He would have died without a doubt. But that was just the basic abilities of a sovereign god. The most important thing was the authority of a sovereign god. This was the strongest power of a sovereign god. And this time, Xia Ping had condensed the authority of dream. Authority, dream. Xia Ping clenched his fists. He could feel the power of his sovereign authority. Ability 1, Dream Body. Activates the authority of dream to turn one's body illusory and illusory. One is immune to all attacks in the world. Weakness is that one cannot attack the enemy. Ability 2, Dream Doppelganger. Activates the authority of dream to split into countless doppelgangers. Each doppelganger is real and each doppelganger is fake. One can pass off the fake as the real and no eye technique can see through it. Ability 3, Make Wishes Come True. Activate the authority dream, and you will be able to stir up the laws of fate. As long as you have a wish in your heart, you will definitely be able to achieve it. It will be as if the power of fate in the world will assist you, and it will be as if you are the ruler of fate. Ability 4, Nightmare Realm. With a single thought, countless life forms can enter a dream and fall into the nightmare realm. Even a sovereign god can't escape and will be sealed in the dream realm. Ability 5, Turning the False into the Real. This ability has already broken through the boundary between reality and illusion. It can turn the false into the real, distort countless laws and turn the false into the real. As expected of a sovereign-level authority. Too powerful. Xia Ping was astonished. Even though this was a sovereign's authority he had condensed himself, he was still shocked by the power of his sovereign's authority. To be honest, this was somewhat similar to the power of the true demon god, but it far surpassed the power of the true demon god. It had reached the supreme realm of turning the illusory into the real, and turning the false into the real. As long as it was something in his heart, it could be materialized. Of course, the more incredible something was, the more energy it would take to materialize it. Everything was an equivalent exchange. I'll go into seclusion for a period of time first. Xia Ping clenched his fists. After advancing to the sovereign realm, his strength was many times stronger. He didn't need to be afraid of those sovereign-level evil gods in the evil god cosmos. He could even kill them. At this time, it was probably those evil gods' turn to be afraid of him. After he stabilized his strength, he would head to the evil god cosmos and sacrifice all the evil gods to devour the energy of the entire evil god cosmos. With a swoosh, his body flashed and he immediately went into seclusion to stabilize his cultivation base. At this time, in the evil god cosmos, many evil gods also knew about the failure of the hell world. Their faces were extremely solemn. Damn it, what is going on? Didn't we send hundreds of evil gods to guard that space-time tunnel? Why did it fail? Why did all the evil gods die and not a single one of them escaped? An evil god cursed and was unable to restrain his anger. Their original plan was to increase the source energy of the hell world. Once it reached a certain level, all the evil gods would charge over and wipe out the Furnace Lord. Now, before they even attacked, the vanguard evil gods were wiped out by the Furnace Lord. This was a slap to their faces and an insult to the evil god cosmos. This was a humiliation that couldn't be washed away. According to the information from the void monsters that managed to escape, the reason why they were able to kill the evil gods was because the Furnace Lord had obtained the strongest divine artifact from the last era of hell, the 6 paths of reincarnation. That was why the evil gods were unable to escape and were killed in one fell swoop. An evil god said solemnly, "Strongest god artifact 6 paths reincarnation? Didn't they say that it was destroyed in the war? Why did it end up in the hands of the Furnace Lord? I'm not sure." In any case, the Furnace Lord did indeed obtain the 6 paths of reincarnation. Damn it, this fellow obtained the 6 paths reincarnation. He is like a tiger with wings. Right, along with the buff from the hell world source, how can normal evil gods be his match? But just like that, are we going to give up on taking revenge on the Furnace Lord? Of course not. Even if we want to give up, the Furnace Lord won't give up on taking revenge on us. The entire evil god cosmos is filled with furnace wizards and the evil god cosmos is at its most dangerous moment. That's right. I can already feel that the power within these furnace sorcerers is getting stronger and stronger. It's already to the point where they can't be killed. Once these furnace sorcerers are killed, the entire evil god universe will be destroyed. That Furnace Lord has to be killed, if not either he dies or we die. The many evil gods gritted their teeth and were extremely furious. They wanted to charge into Hell World and rip Xia Ping into pieces and kill his entire family. Unfortunately, the space tunnel was destroyed by the kid and they wouldn't be able to enter Hell World in a short period of time. Stop talking nonsense. Let's build another space tunnel and then the Dominator-level evil gods will enter too. No matter how many trump cards he has, he will definitely die. A Dominator-level evil god was furious. To be safe, even the Dominator-level evil god personally attacked. Even if the kid had 3 heads and 6 arms, he wouldn't be able to survive. The many evil gods nodded their heads. They had never hated such an enemy so much and this was the first time. Chapter 2954. A month later in the Infernal World. After killing many evil gods, destroying the nests of the void monsters, and shattering the spacetime passageway, the entire infernal world underwent earth-shattering changes. After eradicating the evil gods and obtaining a large number of evil gods' origins, the origin of the infernal world also developed rapidly. Just like the spirit chi revival, the origin energy of the infernal world increased at a rapid rate. During this period of time, the entire infernal world also produced fragments of the infernal world one after another. In fact, after the collapse of the last infernal era, these fragments of the infernal world did not turn into powder. Instead, they hid in the deepest part of the infernal world's spacetime. Unless the infernal world evolved to a certain extent, these fragments of infernal world would not appear. However, it was clear that the current infernal world had evolved to an extremely high degree. Fragments of infernal world also appeared in the infernal world, scattered in every corner. At this point, the high-level infernal world was nothing. The infernal world could be considered a top cultivation ground. Countless demons flocked to the infernal world to cultivate. Their strength also improved by leaps and bounds, improving at a speed visible to the naked eye. At the same time, the infernal world's fragments also appeared one after another. They were all remnants of the last infernal era. Some of them were the palaces of the infernal world, and some were treasures left behind by the immortals of the immortal universe after their tragic deaths. There were also all kinds of treasures. In short, the huge ancient ruins were excavated by many demons. Although it had only been a month since the spirit chi revival, the strength of the demons in the entire infernal world had increased by several times. The number of demigod demons alone exceeded 10 million. In fact, there were even dozens of demigods and gods present. It was as if the power that restrained the evolution of these demons was no longer there. At this moment, the infernal world had become a period of rapid growth and evolution for the demons. At this time, in the Green Lotus Palace, the Green Lotus Hell had also evolved into the infernal world. It was now the center of the entire infernal world, the place where countless high-level demons gathered. At this moment, after a month, Xiaoping had finally consolidated his sovereign realm cultivation base. He had integrated the divine power in his body and reached the acme of perfection. At this moment, he had completely grasped the power of a sovereign god. However, after becoming a sovereign, he didn't just obtain the dream authority. In fact, he had also obtained several sovereign-level authorities, such as the Feathered Serpent God's Copy Authority, the Reality Demon God's Reality Authority, the Thunder God's Judgment Authority, the War God's Massacre Authority, and the Hell Golden Crow's Sacrifice Authority. In reality, a truly powerful sovereign god didn't just have one authority. They might have several. When Quetzalcoatl was at its peak, it also had a lot of power, but its main power was replication. The others were just supporting powers and methods. The more authorities one grasped, the stronger one's combat power would be. But that wasn't all. Because he had obtained the recognition of Hell's essence and the main universe, he was able to comprehend the laws of the Great Tao very quickly. Up until now, he'd comprehended an entire 2,800 Grand Tao laws, and merely another 200 Grand Tao laws remained before he could completely master all 3,000 Grand Tao laws. Xiaoping could sense that even amongst rulers, he was considered an extremely powerful existence. He no longer needed to fear those ruler-level evil gods of the evil god universe. He might even be able to kill these evil gods with his god artifact. He was almost close to the limits of a sovereign god's combat power. At his current realm, even if he wanted to take a step forward, he didn't know how much time and effort it would take. It could be said that if he didn't have any enlightenment, he would basically be stuck at his current level for the rest of his life. He wouldn't be able to make any breakthroughs. In reality, it wasn't just Xiaoping. The other sovereign gods were the same. It was extremely difficult to take a step forward. Just like the 100-meter sprint champion Usain Bolt in his previous life, his speed had already reached 9.58 seconds. Even if he could shorten it by 0.1 seconds, it would be extremely difficult. He also started to sense the difficulty of cultivation. That's right, the primal chaos Tao comprehension stone. Xiaoping's eyes lit up. He recalled the reason for the war between the Hell Cosmos and the Immortal Cosmos. It was because of the primal chaos Tao comprehension stone. Legend had it that it was a supreme divine stone that could help a ruler advance to the creation god realm. It was incomparably precious. If he could obtain this primal chaos Tao comprehension stone, he might be able to gain something. Swoosh. Thinking of this, he didn't hesitate. Based on the Hell Golden Crow's memories, his figure flashed and he immediately arrived at a space of nothingness in the depths of Hell. This place was the northernmost part of the Hell Cosmos. There was nothing everywhere and it was filled with layers of folded spaces. Dong. Xia Ping gently pointed with his finger. Immediately, ripples appeared in the spacetime of hell. Following that, the spacetime of hell split open, and an incomparably huge fragment of hell emerged from this place. A vast demonic god plane of hell appeared. This was a fragment of the largest demonic god plane of the last hell epoch. It used to be a battlefield of demonic gods. It was an earth-shattering battle, but a fragment of the demonic god plane still remained. It was a vast piece of land that seemed to be boundless. Just the diameter alone was more than 1 billion light-years, and it was densely engraved with demonic god restriction arrays. At this moment, terrifying demonic god corpses appeared on this piece of land. The ground was covered in demonic god blood. One could imagine that this place used to be the most tragic demonic god battlefield. All sorts of famous demonic god corpses from the last hell epoch appeared on this piece of land. It could be said that this place was truly a god's graveyard. Even after countless epochs had passed, this place still emitted a terrifying demonic god aura. It was an undying aura. Ordinary life forms couldn't even get close to this place. Only a ruler like Xia Ping could easily resist the boundless baleful aura. Originally, this place hadn't reached the time to appear, but Xia Ping had forcefully excavated it. This is the primal chaos Tao comprehension stone that led to the hell cosmos and the immortal cosmos? Xia Ping's eyes lit up. He immediately saw a stone the size of a human fist floating in the center of this piece of land. It was surrounded by a dense aura of primal chaos, as if all energy was converted into primal chaos. From afar, this was simply a small cosmos. The stone emitted an unfathomable aura of the great Tao. It was as if just by looking at it, one would feel enlightened and benefit greatly. The speed at which one could comprehend the great Tao laws had increased by leaps and bounds. Chapter 2955. Unbelievable. Xia Ping grabbed the chaotic Tao understanding stone in his hand. He could not wait to take possession of this strange stone that originated from the chaos and refine it quickly. But he endured it. This was the primal chaos Tao comprehension stone. It could only help him comprehend the grand Tao laws. It couldn't help him become a creation god. If an ordinary person obtained this primal chaos Tao comprehension stone, he wouldn't be able to become a creation god. At most, it would increase his perception. Only by raising his cultivation to the limits of the ruler realm, to the great circle ruler realm, to the point where there was no more room for improvement, could he refine the primal chaos Tao comprehension stone. I didn't expect this primal chaos Tao comprehension stone to fall into my hands so easily. Xia Ping was very emotional. If the deities of the immortal cosmos and hell cosmos knew about this, they would probably vomit blood in anger. They had paid a heavy price to fight for this treasure. Both cosmos had collapsed from the battle. But even so, none of them had obtained the primal chaos Tao comprehension stone. Instead, they had perished together. However, this strange item that could destroy 2 universes had fallen into his hands so easily. It was really unimaginable. However, it didn't take long for him to calm down and regain his composure. It's time to attack the Fiend God universe. Xia Ping clenched his fists. His eyes glowed. Honestly speaking, the Fiend God universe had always been his greatest trouble. Even if he let the Fiend God universe off, the Fiend Gods wouldn't let him or the Hell universe off. It could be said that the conflict between the two sides was irreconcilable. If there was a chance, the Fiend Gods would definitely want to kill him. Since that was the case, he would strike first and kill all of them. If he could kill all of them, devour their energy, and even sacrifice the entire Fiend God universe, he would definitely be able to raise his cultivation to the Great Circle Ruler realm. At that time, he would be able to refine the Primal Chaos Tao Comprehension Stone and completely comprehend the 3,000 Grand Tao laws. He would ascend to the Supreme Creation God realm. Therefore, these Fiend Gods had to die. They had to become his stepping stones to become a creation god. A few days later, Xia Ping had already raised his strength to the extreme. In fact, his strength was increasing at every moment. With every passing second, he would become stronger. This was the period when his power was advancing by leaps and bounds. Whoosh! His figure flashed and he arrived at a space-time passageway. This space-time passageway was dug by Tan Minglu and the others. It was a space-time passageway that led to the Evil God universe. This was the back door that he had left in the Evil God universe. It was the only path that could lead him to the Evil God universe. In the past, it was always those evil gods who invaded the Hell world. Now, it was his turn to invade the Evil God universe. Thump. Xia Ping waved his hand and instantly opened up the space-time tunnel. Through the space-time tunnel, his body flashed and it didn't take long for him to arrive at the Fiend God universe. Rumble, just as he arrived at the evil god Cosmos, the entire evil god Cosmos started to tremble. A massive amount of Cosmos source energy came crashing down, and an extreme evil intent came from all directions. Without a doubt, this was the malice of the universe's source, purposely targeting an outsider like him, incomparably vigilant. After all, he was a sovereign god. One could imagine the damage he could cause to the universe. Therefore, the evil god universe instantly treated Xiaoping as an unprecedented enemy. What a strong pressure. Xiaoping was astonished. At this moment, he finally understood why living beings from other universes felt when they entered another universe. This kind of omnipresent evil intent and omnipresent suppression. It was as if the entire cosmos source energy was crashing down, wrapping around him from all directions. It wanted to suppress his strength and even crush him into pieces. Even if he could resist the suppression of the cosmos source energy, he would still be suppressed by the cosmos source willpower at any time when he was walking in this universe. He would be in big trouble at every moment. Countless experts would treat him as their mortal enemy. Moreover, this was the end of the universe and the cosmos source was extremely weak. He couldn't imagine how terrifying the suppression would be when it was at its peak. It could be said that under the suppression of the cosmos source, his strength would be weakened by at least 50%. It was no wonder that after Feathered Serpent God was plotted against and came to the evil god universe, he would be surrounded and killed by so many evil gods. The suppression of the cosmos source on other living beings was simply too strong. And do the other evil gods know about it too? At this moment, Xiaoping's heart stirred. He sensed that his arrival had instantly alarmed the evil gods in various parts of the evil god universe. One by one, terrifying wills were awakened. Clearly, his appearance couldn't be hidden from these powerful evil gods. However, he didn't intend to hide it from these evil gods. He had arrived in the evil god universe openly and wanted to defeat these evil gods in an upright manner. He wanted to seize the evil god universe's source and completely refine the evil god universe. The moment Xiaoping appeared in the evil god universe, many evil gods were shocked. They had also received a reminder and warning from the cosmos source willpower that an unprecedentedly strong enemy had arrived in the evil god universe. Oh, who is so daring to actually dare to invade our evil god universe? A ruler-level evil god was enraged. He could sense that the enemy that invaded the evil god universe was definitely a ruler. If it wasn't a ruler, the cosmos source willpower wouldn't be so nervous. Furnace Lord, I can sense that the life form that invaded the evil god universe is the Furnace Lord. Fate evil god roared in anger. He could sense Xiaoping's aura. How daring. We haven't even started to find trouble with him and this kid actually came to us on his own accord. He's too arrogant. What is this Furnace Lord trying to do? Yog-Sothoth, the key of the door, was absolutely furious. He had never seen such an arrogant foreign life form in his life. He simply didn't care about the evil gods at all. He was extremely arrogant. Taking the initiative to come to a hostile universe was an act of seeking death. However, this kid did it. Without a doubt, he was looking down on the evil gods. He was using this action to tell them that even if his true body came to the evil god universe, they wouldn't be able to do anything to him. How much did this bastard want to look down on the evil gods before he would let it go? But how did this Furnace Lord level up so quickly? When did he become a ruler? Wasn't he just a demigod before? One of the evil gods was stunned. Previously, this Furnace Lord was just a demigod. Although his combat strength was strong, he wasn't a god. Just when did he evolve to the ruler level? This was really inconceivable. Chapter 2956. Could it be that he broke through to the sovereign realm from perfection demigod realm? Some evil gods couldn't help but shout. Impossible. No matter how monstrous he is, he can't go from half-god to ruler. At most, he is a high god. Even if he is one of the top geniuses in the universe, isn't he crazy to want to go from half-god to ruler? Another evil god shook his head. If that's the case, then what exactly happened before? Some evil gods couldn't understand. There's no doubt that we've misjudged. We've been completely deceived by this fellow. The Furnace Lord is most likely a sovereign god himself. Only now has it been revealed. Evil god Fate's face was vicious. No wonder all our plans failed. No wonder those evil gods guarding the void monsters were killed. So this guy has ruler strength. He clenched his fists in rage. This was the first time he was played like this. This was simply an extraordinary humiliation. But this isn't right. Hell didn't even give birth to a god. How can this guy be a ruler? This doesn't make sense. Some evil gods were filled with questions. Do you even need to ask? This guy must be a survivor from the last Hell era. I don't know what methods he used to break free from the origin of the universe and live until this era. The evil god of fate sneered. At first he only regained the strength of a demigod, but with the recovery of spiritual chi in the infernal world, he gradually regained his peak strength and gained the combat power of a sovereign. It was as if it could see through the secrets of the master of the furnace. I see, then it makes sense. Despicable, what a despicable and shameless guy. He actually pretended to be a half-god to trick us. No wonder we were in such a mess. So he is a ruler. The evil gods were enlightened. All the things that didn't make sense before now made sense. No matter who this guy is, he dares to come to our universe and cause trouble. Since he's here, he won't be going back. All in one, Yog Sothoth was filled with killing intent. So. As soon as he said that, these evil gods didn't say a word and immediately flew over from all over the universe. They teleported and all appeared in front of Xia Ping, emitting an unparalleled killing intent. In an instant, the entire evil god cosmos shook. Countless worlds were trembling. The mortals could feel the majestic divine might. It was as though doomsday was approaching. They came so quickly. Xia Ping stood with his arms behind his back and his brow rose up. He looked at the evil gods that swarmed over. Basically, all the evil gods in the evil god universe were here. They were densely packed and gave off a terrifying aura. However, the only ones that could threaten him were the 9 Dominator rank evil gods. Apart from them, there was nothing worth mentioning. After all, ruler-level gods were much stronger than higher gods. They weren't even on the same level. Since you are a guest, give me a greeting gift. I will say that the calamity will descend and kill all evil gods. Xia Ping circulated the powers in his body. His words were like the words of gold and jade. Even the great Tao laws of the fiend god universe were being tampered with. Long. With his body as the center, the area within a billion light years was covered in tribulation clouds. Instantly, billions of death god lightning shot out from the thick tribulation clouds. Damn, retreat. Many evil gods' expressions changed and their hairs stood on their ends. They felt a lethal sense of danger. The death god lightning contained death Tao power that could kill gods. They didn't dare to stay on the spot and they fled. But it was too late. Dong. Billions of death god lightning descended and accurately struck each evil god's head. It was like a homing missile that exploded with shocking strength. Ah. The evil gods let out miserable shrieks. Most of them were low gods. How could they withstand the power of the divine thunder of death? They were smashed to pieces in an instant. In fact, they couldn't even last a second before their entire bodies were reduced to ashes. Even their divinities were shattered, and all of their souls were sent into the underworld. In just a few breaths, half of the evil gods were killed by the death god lightning. Retreat. All of you retreat immediately. This isn't a battle you can participate in. A Dominator rank evil god roared. It waved its hand and a terrifying divine power surged out, forming a thick curtain of night that instantly blocked all the divine lightning of death. The other evil gods were terrified and they looked at Xia Ping in terror. They were extremely terrified of Xia Ping. Just one sentence from him had caused them to suffer heavy casualties. This ferocious dragon was too terrifying. With such terrifying combat power, it was no wonder he dared to enter the fiend god universe. Foolish furnace master, you dared to enter the fiend god universe. Your fate has been locked. Even if you hide to the ends of the primal chaos, you can't avoid death. I've already grabbed your fate. There's nowhere for you to run. The evil god of fate cackled. He took out the book of fate and seemed to control countless threads of fate. Like a spider web, they instantly enveloped Xia Ping. Under the cover of the threads of fate, Xia Ping had nowhere to run. I am an evil god that knows all time and space, an evil god from the world of hell. Perish under the torrent of time and space. Yog Sothoth's eyes flashed with savagery. He waved his hand and seemed to blast out a torrent of time and space. The endless laws of time and space twisted, as if it could easily destroy all matter. Even an immortal god would be completely destroyed under the torrent of time and space. I am Nyarlathotep, the creeping chaos. Turn into chaos, turn into nothingness. Another sovereign evil god attacked. It was Nyarlathotep, often called the messenger. It was the symbol of mockery and contradiction. Its power was chaos. It could turn all power into chaos, into nothingness. Its power was terrifying beyond compare. I am Yog Sothoth, the one for all. Take my strongest strike. All for one. Yog Sothoth attacked instantly, displaying his ultimate attack. It could gather the power of all things, condense it into a single point, and then explode with a fatal attack. Back then, Winged Serpent God was ambushed by it. One attack pierced through Winged Serpent God's defense and heavily injured him, laying the foundation for victory. I am Shub-Niggurath, the black goat of the forest who has given birth to millions of descendants. Today you will disappear and return to nothingness. Shub-Niggurath, the black goat, also attacked. Its power was life. It could produce countless children. Chapter 2957. The power of life was extremely strong. It meant that it understood the essence of life. However, it was an evil god after all. All the lives it gave birth to were monsters. They were completely depraved and had all kinds of strange and terrifying corrosive properties. Therefore, creatures affected by its power of life would basically be cursed by the evil god. They would be forcibly turned into the black goat's dependents and obey its orders. Therefore, this was actually a kind of enslavement power. Black goat Shub-Niggurath's power could be seen from this. It was also the most powerful evil god. Basically, most evil gods were born from it. The other evil god hegemons attacked as well. Ping ping ping. In an instant, terrifying great Tao laws twisted the universe's spacetime and attacked. Even a ruler god couldn't block such a terrifying attack. Once hit, one would definitely be heavily injured. Dream body. In an instant, Xiaoping's body appeared to be in a transparent state. In an instant he was in a state of illusory and real. Rumble. Instantly, the 9 rulers' attacks landed on Xiaoping's body at the same time. However, it was useless. It was as if they hit an illusion. The attacks all missed. What? Seeing this, the rulers were in disbelief. They didn't believe that their attacks couldn't hurt the furnace master at all. This was too ridiculous. Impossible. You were hit by my book of destiny. You should have been covered by the spider web of destiny. You should have nowhere to run. This is a strike of destiny. It will definitely hit. How can you dodge it? The one who couldn't accept this the most was the evil god of destiny. It claimed to be the evil god that controlled destiny. Everyone was under the destiny that it weaved. No one could escape. However, this kid in front of it easily escaped. Its spider web of destiny couldn't catch him at all. This made it completely crazy. It shook its beliefs. Strike of destiny? Hearing this, Xiaoping immediately laughed. You're too arrogant. You want to control destiny with just you? Do you know how powerful fate is? How could a hegemon possibly control it? The reason why everything goes smoothly for you is because you can see the veins of destiny. You can see the trajectory of destiny, but it doesn't mean that you can control destiny. You claim to be a god that controls fate, but in fact, you have already been controlled by fate. Impossible. You're bullshitting. I'm the evil god of fate. The fates of all living beings are under my control. How dare you say that I'm controlled by fate? Are you fucking kidding me? Evil god Fate cursed and didn't believe Xiaoping's words at all. Whoosh. In the blink of an eye, Xiaoping's body flashed and he appeared beside the evil god of Fate. He reached out and grabbed the evil god of Fate's shoulder. At this moment, his body had also transformed from an illusory state to a solid state. The transformation between the illusory state and the real state was completely dependent on his will. Damn ant, let go of your stinky hands. I am the evil god of fate and I am not someone an ant like you can touch. The evil god of fate hollered in rage and felt endless panic. Because it couldn't sense the furnace lord's movements at all, it couldn't guess Xiaoping's every move. This was simply an existence that transcended fate, a variable within fate. You think of yourself as the evil god of fate that controls the fate of all living beings, but have you ever foreseen that you will die? Xiaoping looked at the evil god of fate calmly. What a joke. I am the supreme existence of fate, eternal and undying. How can I die? The evil god of fate wanted to say something, but Xiaoping didn't plan to let it continue. Sacrifice. Xiaoping looked at the evil god of fate and just said these 2 words. Instantly, the sovereign god power in his body exploded. This was the power of the golden crow of hell, sacrifice. Once this ability was used, everything in the universe could be sacrificed, everything would be burned to ashes, and then the energy would be sacrificed to the origin of the universe. This power was extremely strong. It was equivalent to communicating with the origin of the universe and using the power of the origin of the universe. It was like controlling the power of the entire universe and sacrificing many gods. In the last era of hell, the reason why the Golden Crow of Hell was known as one of the strongest demon gods and even the Lord of Hell respected it was because of this power. If the Golden Crow of Hell wanted to kill a god, it could directly turn that god to ashes and return the origin of the god to the origin of the universe, burning them to death. Moreover, the golden crow of hell would also be rewarded by the origin of the universe, increasing its power endlessly. It could be said that the golden crow of hell was the illegitimate child of the universe, the child of the great Tao. At the same time, this method was also very beneficial to the universe. This was because the reason why these gods had evolved so quickly was because they had plundered the origin of the universe, damaging the benefits of the universe's origin. Once these gods were sacrificed, all the origin energy would return to the universe, which was equivalent to promoting the evolution of the universe. Therefore, the golden crow of hell could practically roam the universe unhindered and kill deities with ease. Its sacrificial power was enough to make countless gods tremble in fear. "Damn it, what did you do to me? What did you do?" The evil god of fate couldn't help but scream in fear. It could feel the terrifying dark golden flame power surging out of Xiaoping's body. In just an instant, the dark golden flame covered its entire body and started burning. At this moment, every drop of its blood, every inch of its flesh, and every wisp of its soul were burned to ashes. It seemed like it was being sacrificed to this universe. The origin of the evil god universe sensed this and seemed to be extremely excited. It immediately reduced the suppression on Xiaoping's power and increased the suppression on the evil god of fate. "Stop, stop, stop!" The evil god of fate screamed. It felt fatal danger, but it was too late for it to beg for mercy. Rumble, in an instant the entire body of the evil god of fate was burning. Every cell was ignited. In just a few breaths, the evil god of fate was turned to ashes. Its origin energy also returned to this world and merged with the universe. The evil god universe, which was on the verge of death, now recovered a portion of its vitality and extended its lifespan. It was no longer in danger like before. Of course, Xiaoping also plundered a portion of the origin energy. This. The evil gods saw this scene and were dumbfounded. They couldn't believe it. One had to know that this was the evil god of fate, a dominator-level evil god that was said to control the fate of all beings. It was extremely powerful, but now it was burned alive by the Furnace Lord. If they hadn't seen this scene with their own eyes, they wouldn't have believed it. Chapter 2958. With a smack, Xiaoping grabbed the evil god of fate's godhood and put it away. After all, the evil god of fate had grasped many great Tao laws, which would be of great benefit to him. The reason why he killed it first was because it was too big of a threat. If he didn't kill it soon, who knew what other tricks it would play? Bastard! The remaining 8 evil god sovereigns were all enraged. They wanted nothing more than to kill Xiaoping. However, Xiaoping didn't give them a chance to attack. He used the second ability of his authority, which was Dream Doppelganger. So. In an instant, he created millions upon millions of clones that covered every corner of this area. Every single one of them was real, but every single one of them was also fake. They seemed real and fake at the same time, like a dream or an illusion. What is going on? Which one is the real one? The 8 evil gods stared. They used ultimate techniques, but no matter how they looked, they couldn't find where Xiaoping's real body was. It was as if each one was real. The other evil gods were stunned too. Even the evil gods couldn't see through him, let alone them. In the next second, Xiaoping moved. In an instant, he was beside the 8 dominator rank evil gods. His hand grabbed them just like that. Quick run. Their hair stood on their ends and they felt a huge sense of danger. That was how evil god fate died. He was just grabbed and instantly burned to death. He was sacrificed to the source of the universe. It's too late. Sacrifice. Xiaoping's eyes were calm as he looked at the 8 dominator-level evil gods. He was circulating all the dominator-level power in his body to sacrifice the 8 dominator-level evil gods at the same time. What kind of situation was that? Although he didn't dare say it was unprecedented, it was still rare. Long, instantly the 8 dominator-rank evil gods felt fatal danger. The terrifying infernal golden crow flames burned over, using the evil gods on their bodies as fuel, instantly igniting every cell and drop of blood in their bodies. If it was against other dominator gods, this sacrifice wouldn't have such a strong effect. However, the infernal golden crow was the bane of countless evil beings. The infernal golden crow's flames in its body could burn some evil energy. It was the natural enemy of evil gods, and its destructive power was more than 10 times that of other creatures. Therefore, when Xiaoping activated the sacrifice authority, he practically ignited the bodies of the 8 demon gods, causing their bodies and even their souls to burn. No, stay your hand. You damned furnace master, you actually dare to sacrifice us to the universe origin. Stop. Stop right now. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to tear you to pieces. Ah, I won't let you off even if I die, damned furnace master. The ruler-level evil gods cried out in pain. All for one is Yug. Sotheth, the black goat of the forest, Shub, Nikolaus, Nyarlathotep the creeping chaos, and Yog the key to the door? Sotheth and the other evil god sovereigns were unable to withstand the power of the sacrifice. They were as weak as babies, and all the power of the heretical god in their bodies was burned to ashes. Even their souls could not withstand the power of such a sacrifice. Walala, the 8 ruler-level evil gods burned for a full 3 minutes before they were finally burned to ashes. Even their souls were sacrificed to the heretical god universe origin. At this point, pretty much all the rulers of the heretical god universe were killed, and not a single one was left. The heretical god universe obtained such a large amount of energy, and it actually recovered from its old age to its youth. The cracks in the universe were all healed, and it was no longer in danger like before. At this moment, Xiaoping was completely recognized by the heretical god universe, and he was immediately treated as a native of the heretical god universe. It was like a foreigner who made great contributions to his country, and he was given the title of an honorary citizen of his country. With such a title, he obtained the same status as a native, and he would no longer be targeted by the universe origin. At this moment, he sensed that his power was no longer suppressed by the heretical god universe. Instead, he received the support of the entire universe's power, and it was as if he had returned to his hometown. As expected of a ruler-level evil god, such a large amount of origin energy. Xiaoping's eyes lit up. Although he had sacrificed the 8 ruler-level evil gods, and more than 90% of the origin energy was devoured by the heretical god universe, the remaining 10% was enough for him to obtain endless benefits. He felt an extremely large amount of origin energy surging through his body. Almost instantly, it allowed him to advance from the initial stage ruler realm to the full stage ruler realm. With this energy, who knew how many epochs of cultivation time he had been saved? Of course, this amount of energy wasn't much. The most important thing was that he had obtained the 8 ruler-level evil god divine sparks, which contained a large amount of information about the great Tao laws. If he could completely comprehend it, he would definitely be able to raise his cultivation to the highest level. When the remaining evil gods saw this, they were all extremely terrified. It's over, it's all over. The 9 ruler-level evil gods were killed by the furnace master. Who else can be his match? One evil god couldn't help but shout in fear. No, we still have a final trump card, the strongest ruler-level evil god, the blind and foolish Azathos, the god of darkness. As long as we awaken this existence, we still have a chance of winning. An evil god hollered. That's right, the reason why the god of darkness was sealed was purely because his power was too strong. It would hasten the destruction of the heretical god universe, so he was sealed. But it's different now, the 9 ruler-level evil gods have been sacrificed. Other than the god of darkness, no one can save us. Quick, go to the god of darkness's sealed grounds and awaken this mighty existence. One evil god after another roared in rage. They didn't dare to stay on the spot and quickly fled. Even the 9 ruler-level evil gods were easily killed by the furnace master and sacrificed to the origin energy of the universe. Small shrimps like them wouldn't be able to last more than a few seconds. Staying here would only lead to death. Wanna run? The entire heretical god universe is under my control, how can you run? Xiaoping stood with his arms behind his back and looked calmly at the evil gods. He didn't care at all. Even if they awakened the so-called god of darkness, they wouldn't be his match. It was just one more evil god for him to sacrifice. Of course, he wouldn't let these evil gods go. He would sacrifice them all to the heretical god universe and wipe out all the gods. That way, his cultivation would definitely rise to the supreme realm. Sogu website. Chapter 2959. A few days later. After Xiaoping swept through the entire evil god cosmos, all the evil gods were dead. Even the darkness god was sacrificed to the evil god cosmos. All the evil gods were killed. That day was also known as the Twilight of the Gods. Numerous evil gods fell and many evil creatures were in grief. It was as if the world was collapsing. The gods above their heads had fallen and the entire universe was no longer their world. The evil god universe had completely recovered. The dense space cracks had disappeared and it was as if an old man had returned to his youthful state. In truth, the evil god universe shouldn't have fallen into the reincarnation cycle so quickly. It was purely because the evil gods kept plundering the universe source energy, which accelerated the destruction of the evil god universe. At this moment, Xiaoping sacrificed these evil gods and used their source energy to make up for the lack of the universe source. It was the same as helping the evil god universe to recover. That way the evil god universe would naturally recover to its peak. Because of this, Xiaoping obtained the recognition of the evil god universe source. It was as if he had become the son of heaven of the evil god universe, and he was constantly being buffed by the evil god universe source. But at this moment, after Xiaoping wiped out the evil gods, he returned to Hell World. This was because he had obtained many evil god divinities and he needed some time to comprehend them. In the blink of an eye, another month passed. In Hell World, within the Green Lotus Hell's Palace, the eternal clock covered this region, causing the flow of time to speed up. Billions of years passed inside and only one day passed outside. I see. At this moment, Xiaoping had cultivated in this region for who knew how many years. He opened his eyes and there was a shocking glow in them. He took out many divinities and each of them gave off an immeasurable aura and god power. Basically, the divinities of the entire evil god universe were in his hands. During this period of cultivation, he used feathered serpent god's power to replicate the power and Tao laws within the divinities. One could say that all the evil gods of the evil god universe, all their wisdom and power belonged to him. This also allowed his cultivation to reach a level that had never been seen before since ancient times. Walala, endless Tao laws surged out from the depths of his consciousness and quickly took shape. At this moment he sensed that he had reached the limit of ruler realm. 2,999 great Tao laws. The divine power on his body was extremely strong and boundless. According to the Golden Crow of Hell's memories, his current divine power had reached the limit of the universe. It was equivalent to the power of a universe's reincarnation cycle. In other words, he alone possessed the power of a universe. This power was simply unprecedented and rarely seen in the world. If Xiaoping willed it, he could easily kill a lesser god or even severely injure a divine sovereign. Even so, despite possessing such immense power, he still hadn't become a god of creation. Just a little more. Xiaoping clenched his fists. To be honest, at this moment he had almost mastered all the great Tao nomological laws. There was only one great Tao nomological that he hadn't mastered. It wasn't just him. In fact, all the evil gods in the evil god universe hadn't mastered it. It was the great Tao of destiny. Among the 3,000 great Taos, fate was supreme. This was something that feathered serpent god's authority could not replicate. No god could comprehend it, so how could feathered serpent god replicate the great path of destiny? Previously, the evil god of destiny had claimed that he had mastered the great path of destiny, but it was just nonsense. He thought that he had mastered destiny, but in fact he was still within the great path of destiny. In fact, it wasn't just the evil god of destiny. Even the legendary Lord of Hell and Celestial the Arch hadn't mastered the great path of destiny after going through 9 universe reincarnations. They had been stuck at this step and couldn't break through. What was destiny? It was the karma and karma of all living beings. In order to master the great path of destiny, one had to understand destiny and analyze the karma and karma of all living beings. But the problem was that there were so many living beings, and the amount of karma and karma and karma and karma and karma and karma and karma were as numerous as the sands of eternity. These karma and karma and karma and karma and karma and karma and karma were chaotic and intertwined. It was so complicated that even gods couldn't analyze it clearly in their entire lives. Even the most top-notch photon computer with infinite computing power couldn't calculate these karma relationships. The amount of calculation was unimaginable. The evil god of fate, on the other hand, had only seen some of the veins of fate. He had grasped a small trick to avoid fate and twist it. Who knew how far away he was from grasping the grand Tao of fate? Of course, even if it only grasped a small portion of the great path of destiny, it was enough for it to become a ruler-level evil god. Its name spread across the entire evil god universe, and countless evil gods trembled in fear at the mention of its name. This was the terror of the great path of destiny. Mastering destiny was like mastering everything. No wonder no ruler could become a creation god. It's just too difficult to comprehend the great path of destiny. Xiaoping couldn't help but sigh. He finally understood why people like Celestial the Arch and Lord of Hell were stuck in the ruler realm and couldn't break through after going through 9 universe reincarnations. Even a sovereign god would find it nearly impossible to comprehend the great Tao of destiny. This wasn't something that could be achieved with power, time, or hard work. If they couldn't comprehend it, then they couldn't. Chaotic Enlightenment Stone. At this time, Xiaoping thought of this treasure. Back then, Celestial the Arch and Lord of Hell had fought over this treasure. It was an opportunity to become a creation god. If he used this chaotic enlightenment stone, he might be able to become a creation god and surpass Celestial the Arch and Lord of Hell in one fell swoop. With such a great opportunity in his hands, there was no reason for him not to try. To be honest, Xiaoping's current realm and cultivation had reached the limits of the ruler realm. Even if he continued to break through, it would only increase his power. Just like Celestial the Arch and Lord of Hell, they went through universe reincarnation after universe reincarnation only to increase their power and grasp the power of over 100 universe reincarnations. But this increase in power had nothing to do with one's realm. There was no qualitative change. Alright, I'll give it a try. Thinking of this, Xiaoping finally made up his mind. He took out the chaotic enlightenment stone. He wanted to comprehend the great path from it and find the opportunity to break through to the creation god realm. If he succeeded, he would reach an unprecedented realm and surpass all the previous demon gods. Chapter 2960. Rumble. Xiaoping immediately refined the primal chaos enlightenment stone. Immediately, he felt his soul surge into the primal chaos enlightenment stone. Then, a mysterious power emanated from the primal chaos enlightenment stone. It was the power of destiny. Vaguely, he seemed to hear the sound of the great path. He felt the rhythm of the great path and heard the breathing of the universe. His soul had never felt the great path laws so clearly before. It was as if the great path laws of the universe had no secrets in front of him. What is this? Under the guidance of this power, Xiaoping felt his soul enter the deepest part of the universe. He suddenly arrived at the place where the origin of the universe was. That was the place where all the laws and great paths of the universe gathered. It was the starting point of everything and the end of everything. Endless great path laws gathered together and condensed into a huge great path light ball. Through this light ball, Xiaoping could feel the rotation of the four seasons in the universe, the reincarnation of life and death, all kinds of changes in the mountains and rivers, grass, trees, birds, flowers, and so on. Even the smallest speck of dust could not escape the light ball's supervision. He immediately knew that this was the great path. Mortals could not understand the cause and effect of all living beings, but the great path could. When the great path operated, it could analyze the cause and effect of all living beings, as well as the entanglement of fate and cause. No matter how messy, chaotic, or complicated the entanglement was, it could be analyzed one by one. Like a butcher dismembering a cow, it could peel off the silk from a cocoon and restore all the cause and effect to an orderly existence. It was completely cleaned up. This was the great path of the universe. It controlled everything. Therefore, at this moment, Xiaoping understood that if he wanted to control fate, he had to control the great path of the universe. He had to seize the origin of the universe and completely refine the entire universe. Only by seizing the origin of the universe and turning himself into the great path could he control the infinite fate. When he reached this level, he would no longer be controlled by fate, nor would he be able to jump out of the control of fate. Instead, he could create fate. This was the creation god, the god who created everything. I see. I understand now. Xiaoping finally understood the function of the chaotic enlightenment stone. It was to give him a chance to seize the origin of the universe. Once he succeeded, he would be the universe and the great path. He would control everything and create everything. Rumble in an instant, his soul fused with the origin of the entire hell world. He wanted to replace the origin of the hell universe and transform himself into the universe. Instantly, the entire hell universe's origin energy began to struggle intensely. Although it didn't have any intelligence, it had instincts. Naturally, it wasn't willing to allow itself to be possessed. Immediately, an enormous amount of cosmic origin energy surged out, almost destroying and shattering everything. Even with Xiaoping's power, it was difficult for him to withstand the impact of the hell universe's origin energy. It felt as if his soul would be instantly devoured by this origin energy and be completely destroyed. After all, seizing the origin will of the universe was extremely risky. If one failed, one would die and there wouldn't be a second chance. No, I can't fight them head-on. Otherwise, I'll definitely die. Xiaoping sensed that if this continued, he would definitely die. His soul would definitely be destroyed by the universe's origin energy. However, at this moment he had a flash of inspiration. Right, since I can't fight it head-on, I'll just deceive it and let the origin of the universe have a good dream. In an instant, Authority's dream power surged out of his body and instantly weaved a beautiful dream. A large amount of illusory memories were instilled into the depths of the universe's origin energy. Such a large amount of fake memories caused the universe's origin energy to mistakenly believe that it was Xia Ping. Right now, it was just his main body returning to the universe, thus reducing the other party's struggle and counterattack. Wallan, after an unknown amount of time, when Xia Ping was almost completely exhausted, the entire Hell universe's origin shook slightly. It seemed as if it had completely believed Xia Ping's words at this moment. Come back. A great Tao's voice rang out, buzzing and vibrating, causing the entire Hell universe to tremble. At this moment, Xia Ping's soul easily fused with the universe's origin energy, replacing the existence of the great Tao laws. Everything happened naturally. There was no resistance at all. Success. Xia Ping was extremely excited. He sensed that he had already grasped the great Tao of destiny. At this moment, all 3,000 great Tao laws were under his control. Rumble at this moment, he sensed that the entire universe had fused with his body. The Hell universe was him and he was the Hell universe. His soul seemed to have entered an illusory river at this moment. Without a doubt, this was the river of destiny. So that's how it is. At this moment, Xia Ping completely understood what the great Tao of destiny was, and what the river of destiny was. In fact, everyone's destiny was a small river. When the destinies of countless lives were combined and fused together, they would converge and form a huge river. This river was the river of destiny. And the universe's great Tao was the power that sorted out these rivers, allowing these rivers of destiny to flow smoothly without obstruction. It wouldn't cause the entire river of destiny to overflow and cause great destruction. It could be said that the great Tao of destiny controlled everything. Whether it was the destiny of the world or the destiny of all living beings, all forces became orderly under the control of the great Tao of destiny. Too powerful. Is this the realm of the creation god? Xia Ping exclaimed. He sensed that he had completely grasped the power of destiny. He had grasped the destiny of the world, the destiny of space-time, the destiny of all things, the destiny of heaven and earth, the destiny of all living beings, and so on. This was a realm and power that could no longer be described with words. Only when one reached this realm could he be considered a true god. He could see through the destiny of all living beings, and even change the destiny of all living beings, distort and tamper with the destiny of all living beings. In his eyes, all living beings were just playthings. Any life, any world, any power, had no secrets to speak of in his eyes. Previously, sovereign gods were like ants in his eyes. Even if an ant's strength increased by 10 times, 20 times, or even 30 times, it wouldn't be a match for a god. This was no longer something that could be described with strength. It had completely surpassed a whole dimension. With just a thought, he could completely shatter a sovereign god and make them disappear without a trace. Moreover, Xia Ping's body also surged with an immense power of creation. This power could simply create everything. As long as he willed it, he could create anything. He could even create a world or a universe out of thin air. This was simply omnipotent. Chapter 2961. I see. Xia Ping finally understood why a creator god could break free from the fate of the universe's reincarnation and never face the danger of the universe's era collapsing. That was because before a creator god was born, the resources in the universe were fixed and could not be increased. As the number of lives in the universe increased and they grew stronger, the universe's resources would gradually dry up. When the resources were depleted to a certain extent, the universe would collapse and fall into reincarnation. All living beings would be wiped out and all life energy would return to nothingness. Then the universe would grow again. This cycle repeated and fell into the universe's reincarnation again and again. But after a creator god was born, the entire universe came back to life. Just like how the universe turned into a living being that could cultivate, it could automatically devour chaos energy and grow stronger. This way, even if the number of lives in the universe kept increasing and the experts kept getting stronger, the universe's resources would not dry up. Instead, it would only grow more and more. This way, it could break free from the universe's reincarnation. The more powerful the universe, the more powerful the creator of the universe would be. Are there strong and weak creators gods too? Xia Ping's eyes lit up. After reaching this level, he immediately knew that even after ascending to the creator god level, there were still strong and weak creators gods. Clearly, the stronger the universe he controlled, the stronger the creator god would be. The stronger the living beings were, the stronger the creator god would be. The two were closely related. If that's the case, if I merge the three universes, the modern universe, the evil god universe, and the hell universe together, no, if I find the other three universes and merge them together to form the Six Paths universe, my power will definitely reach an unprecedented level. Xia Ping clenched his fists. He already thought of his cultivation after becoming a creator god, which was to condense the Six Paths universe and turn it into the Six Paths world. The modern universe would be the human realm, the hell realm would be the hell realm, the evil god universe would be the Azura realm, the heavenly human realm, the beast realm, the evil god realm, and so on. If he formed the Six Paths universe, his power would definitely increase to an unimaginable level. Master. At this moment, the green cow's voice was heard. What is it? Xia Ping's heart thumped as he asked. The modern universe is in big trouble. It seems like enemies from other universes have come. I think it's called the Angel Universe. It's the enemies that the angels brought over. They want to attack the human race and steal the Imperial Jade Seal. Now the modern universe is in danger. The green ox immediately told him everything he knew. It indicated that the angels were spies sent by the Angel Universe and had been lurking in the modern universe for a long time, waiting for the opportunity for the Angel Universe to invade the modern universe. Now that the time was ripe, the Angel Universe's army directly invaded. Is there such a thing? I got it. Hearing this, Xia Ping's heart didn't waver at all. Instead, he wanted to laugh. Just when he was about to doze off, a pillow was sent to him. After all, it was very difficult to find a universe in the primal chaos. It required a long time, but the Angel Universe actually took the initiative to invade. Wasn't this just sending themselves to their deaths? Whoosh. Thinking of this, Xia Ping's figure flashed, and he instantly returned to the main universe without a sound. Buzz, buzz, his soul waves instantly enveloped the entire modern universe. Instantly, he sensed that a void passage had appeared in the modern universe, directly connecting to the Angel Universe. And from this void passage, billions of angels appeared, and even a large number of gods appeared. There was even a Dominator-level god in the center. It seemed to be called the God of Light. It was like a ball of light, and it was impossible to see what form it took. Wherever it appeared, the sky was filled with holy light. Everywhere it went, countless lives were forcibly transformed into angel believers, displaying extremely terrifying Dominator god power. This group of angel army arrived in the modern universe with a crushing force. All forces that resisted were annihilated. They were about to arrive at the human race headquarters to steal the Imperial Jade Seal. The origin of the universe actually didn't suppress these outsiders. So that's how it is. There's actually an ultimate artifact suppressing the origin laws of the universe. Xia Ping's heart moved. He immediately sensed an ultimate artifact, the investiture of the gods, instantly enveloping the origin of the universe and suppressing the great Tao laws here. This caused the great Tao laws of the entire universe's origin to lose their effectiveness, allowing these foreign creatures to display their full strength without fear. Even though the suppression effect would only last for a few days, although the suppression effect was only for a few days with their strength, even if it was just for a few days, they could still sweep the entire modern universe. Not bad power, but that's all. Xia Ping was expressionless. He did not feel anything. If this was before he became a creation god, perhaps he would still be somewhat afraid of this god of light. But now the so-called god of light was just an ant, not even worth mentioning. He had no interest in talking to these angels. Since they wanted to find trouble, then they could go and die. Disappear. Xia Ping lightly pointed. Rumble, in an instant before the god of light and the other angels could figure out what was going on, a terrifying wave came crashing down and gently swept across. In the next second, these angels and gods were all shattered into pieces, completely turning into nothingness. Even the god of light was the same. He had no idea what had happened. He did not even feel any pain. In the next second he fell into endless darkness and lost consciousness. The dominators who had lived through multiple universes had died just like that, without leaving a trace. The originally mighty cosmic catastrophe that could destroy everything had suddenly disappeared without a trace. It was as if these angels had never existed in the first place. That's right. Those remaining gods from the previous era disappear as well. Since they're dead, let them all be buried in history. There's no need for them to be resurrected. Xia Ping's thoughts moved, and a terrifying wave of spiritual energy spread across the entire Forbidden Darkness Zone. With a boom, all of the gods in the Darkness Forbidden Zone died, and the place fell into eternal darkness. These gods no longer existed, and it was impossible for them to come back to life. I'm just too strong. Xia Ping clenched his fists. He felt a little lonely. Originally, a dominating god like the god of light could have been a match for him, but the speed of his advancement was just too fast. Even before the battle had begun, the god of light was already no match for him. This was also the god of light's bad luck. He probably could not have imagined that he would be killed without even seeing his enemy's face. Chapter 2962. Many years later, the Six Paths universe was formed. In the world of the classic of mountains and seas on an island. In the sky there were phoenixes, Kuanpungs, Baifeng, and other ancient divine birds. In the sea there were black tortoises, primordial ancient snakes, chaos electric eels, Kuanpungs, and other powerful creatures. On the island there were also Qilin, Swan and I, Zhujian, Xianglu, Kuei, and other creatures. At this moment, on the beach of this island, a group of peerless beauties were lazily lying on beach chairs, basking in the sun. They were Nangongwu, Qiushu, Suji, Sumei, Jiangyaru, Churong, Yuchichi, Tulinglong, Qingluan, Lu Rulan, Yimengyao, Titania, and others. Xiameng, what are you doing? Why are you pushing this mountain away? Jiangyaru looked at his 3-year-old son with a headache. This 3-year-old kid, who didn't even reach his knees, was actually pushing a 1,000-zhang tall mountain. His body exploded with extreme brute force. The so-called 3,000-meter tall mountain was like a toy in front of him. He casually pushed it, causing the ground to crack and crack. Shocking fissures appeared all over the place. The entire island was buzzing and trembling. Mom, I'm training my body. Plus, this mountain is too much of a hindrance. It's blocking my view. Xiameng scratched his head honestly. Enough. Hurry up and come back. We're on vacation. You've ruined the island by pushing it here and there. Jiangyaru said in a bad mood. Oh, I got it. Seeing that his mom was angry, Xiameng scratched his head and kicked the 1,000-zhang tall mountain away. In an instant, it smashed into the ocean 100 li away. With a boom, the ocean immediately exploded, creating a huge splash. It was a spectacular scene. Seeing his son like this, Jiangyaru's face darkened. Just what did I give birth to? He's not even 3 years old, yet he already has this kind of unimaginable strength. And it's still growing. Xiaoyu, what are you doing now? Didn't you say you're on vacation? Why are you training here again? Chu Rong stared at her 2.5-year-old son, Xiaoyu. The little wimp was currently holding up an incomparably huge black rock that was several dozen kilometers long. Compared to it, he was practically a tiny speck. However, he tossed the rock up and down like a glass bead, up and down, up and down. The power generated was simply terrifying. If it were to fall, it could raise an area of tens of kilometers to the ground. However, he seemed to be used to it as if it was nothing to him. Mom, I'm not exercising. I'm playing Bing Bing with my brother. Xiaoyu shouted. At this time, Chu Rong looked over and saw another tiny Xiao Feng opposite her. They were twins of the same age and looked almost exactly the same. Xiaoyu, what are you doing? Hurry up and throw it over. If you can't catch it, you'll lose. The little guy, Xiao Feng, shouted from afar. Bang bang bang. In an instant, Xiaoyu threw the huge black rock in his hand. Like a meteor, it spun in the air and seemed to surpass the speed of sound. There was a thud, but Xiaofeng easily caught it and kicked it back. Back and forth, the huge rock was kicked back and forth and hit back and forth. Seeing this scene, Chu Rong was simply frightened, afraid that it would smash the little ones. However, when she thought of the abnormal physique of the two little ones, she couldn't help but feel relieved. If you want to play, go play somewhere else. Don't cause trouble here. There's not such a big place here. Chu Rong said snappily. Oh, I know. Xiaoyu and Xiaofeng's figures flashed and they actually appeared on the surface of the sea. They quickly ran on the surface of the sea as if they were running on flat ground. They tossed the huge rock back and forth on the surface of the sea. They were having a lot of fun. Sigh, it's better to have girls. Girls are gentle and quiet while boys are too naughty. Both of them are experts at tearing down houses. Chu Rong said helplessly. Is that so? I don't think so. Nangong Wu pouted and gestured for Chu Rong to look at the two little Lolas wearing white princess dresses on the beach. They were about 4 years old and looked almost identical. They were twins. However, these two quiet little Lolas were extremely tense at this moment. Xiaolei, you can't escape this time. Today I'll make you admit that I'm the big sister. Stop dreaming, Xiaolei. I'm the big sister. You'll always be the little sister. Stupid little sister. Aw, damn it. You were only born a few minutes earlier than me. What makes you think you can be my big sister? I won't admit such a ridiculous fact. It's useless even if you don't admit it. I'm your big sister. Damn it. Let's have a showdown. Whoever wins will be the big sister. Stop dreaming. I'll still be the big sister even if I lose. However, you won't be able to beat me. Can't beat you? You're the one dreaming. The two little Lolas immediately started fighting. Their speed was simply unbelievably fast, surpassing the speed of sound. Only their shadows could be seen running on the beach. No, as time passed, their speed became faster and faster. One could only hear the sound of their collisions. Every time they collided, a terrible explosion would be produced, almost blowing up an area. These two little Lolas were like two humanoid dragons, extremely violent. They fought from the sky to the ground, from the ground to the sky, from the sea to the bottom, and from the bottom to the surface. You too. This scene made Nangong Wu's forehead blue veins bulge. She instantly took action and stopped the two little Lolas. Only after each of them was she able to stop them. These little guys are too good at making trouble, Nangong Wu said helplessly. She finally knew what it meant to be the four tyrants of the village. They were the naked baby, the haystack chicken, the village dog, and the watchdog goose. They simply caused no peace in the house. Maybe they'll be more sensible when they grow up. Zhurong said. Will they be more sensible when they grow up? They are indeed more sensible. Look at my little scourge. He's starting to harm other girls. Sume looked speechless. She pursed her lips and motioned to look at her 5-year-old son, Xia Hai. This 5-year-old boy, who looked like he was carved from jade, sat quietly at the side. 4 or 5 virtual pages were opened, and he seemed to be chatting with netizens at the same time. What's he doing? Nangong Wu asked curiously. What else can he be doing? He's chatting with several girlfriends he met in kindergarten before. Sume said angrily. What? Nangong Wu was speechless. It was already too much to have a girlfriend at the age of 5, but he actually had several girlfriends. Whose character did this bad guy inherit? He was only in kindergarten and he already began to harm little girls. Chapter 2963. Ring ring ring. Just then a call came in and the little boy, Xia Hai, picked up the call with familiarity. Hey Xia Hai, what are you doing? Baby, I'm just thinking about you. Boss scumbag. You've said the same thing to Lucy in the next class. Of course not. I've only said that to you. If I'm lying, my dad will be struck by lightning. Why wouldn't you be the one struck by lightning? If I'm struck by lightning, who will love you and take care of you? Hee hee, you only know how to use flowery words to trick me. Baby, why would I lie to you? I remember there's a pretty good lollipop near the kindergarten. Let's go eat it tomorrow. You know, I haven't seen you for half a day. Okay. Hearing these words, Nangong Wu, Sume, Jiangyaru, and the rest's mouths twitched. Just how many little girls did he flirt with to become so proficient in it? Sweet words and honeyed words seemed to have become second nature to him. Mom, transfer some money to me. I'm going on a date with my girlfriend tomorrow. Xia Hai blinked and stretched his hand out to Sume, asking for money. Go away, I don't have money. Sume patted the boy's hand. How old was he? He already knew how to date a girlfriend? Xia Hai blinked. Mom, can you help me find a kindergarten tomorrow? I saw a cute little girl in the kindergarten next door. She has big eyes and a ponytail. I want to get to know her. Don't even think about it. Study hard. How old are you? You're already thinking about puppy love. Sume said snappily. At this moment, on top of a mountain, a little boy wearing open-crotch pants stood at the top of the mountain with a sad look on his face. Little sister, you have to remember these brats are all finished. They don't have any future prospects. They either fight all day, play everywhere, or pick up girls. Only I, your big brother, am mature and steady. It looks like this family will have to rely on me, Xiaoyu, in the future. Xiaoyu stood with his hands behind his back. But big brother, mommy said that you were very naughty when you were 3 years old. You rode Uncle Kuan Peng and ran around. I don't know how many things you broke at home. The 3-year-old Lolita, Xia Ling, blinked her eyes. If you said it yourself. That was when I was 3 years old. You should know that I'm 5 years old now. I've grown up. Things are different now. I won't do something like that again. Xiaoyu revealed a mature expression, showing that he's already a 5-year-old adult, and he's no longer a 3-year-old kid. Dong. As soon as he finished speaking, a rubber ball flew over and accurately hit Xiaoyu's head. Then a brat shouted, Big brother, come down. I'll definitely defeat you today. Blinking her eyes, Xia Ling looked at her brother, Xiaoyu. Foolish child. Do you think a 5-year-old adult like me will fall for such a small trick like goading me into doing something? It's useless, I won't be provoked so easily. Xiaoyu stood with his hands behind his back and remained unmoved. Dong. But before he could finish speaking, another watermelon flew over and smashed into Xiaoyu's head, shattering it into pieces. Xiaoling was instantly shocked. The child continued to shout, Big brother, are you afraid? Hurry up and come down. This time I've practiced a new martial technique. I'll definitely defeat you. Little sister, don't worry. Don't be angry. I won't be easily provoked. Do you think you can anger me by smashing a few watermelons? You're underestimating the cultivation of a 5-year-old adult. I've already reached the realm of being immovable like a mountain. My heart is as calm as a deep lake, and my cultivation is unfathomable like an enlightened monk. Xiaoyu was calm and composed. Although the watermelon juice was still flowing down his head, he still had a calm expression. As expected of big brother. You're too powerful. Xia Ling prostrated herself in admiration. As expected of her 5-year-old brother. His self-restraint wasn't something a 3-year-old could compare to. He was too mature and wouldn't be provoked by a mere provocation. She looked at her brother with admiration. Whoosh. But at that moment, Xiaoyu and Xiaofeng missed, and a huge black rock smashed towards Xiaoyu's head at an extremely fast speed. Moreover, the angle of the rock was extremely accurate as it smashed towards Xiaoyu's head. Again. Seeing this scene, Xiaoyu flew into a rage. This is intolerable. Do you really think that your big brother doesn't have a temper? I can throw anything at you. You bunch of bastards, just you wait. Today I'll let you know what it means to have your butts blossom. Boom. In an instant he punched through the air and smashed the huge black rock. It disintegrated in mid-air, instantly turning into dust. With a few swishing sounds, he leaped down from the top of the mountain. He was going to settle the score with those kids who provoked him. Ah, big brother, you're finally down. Come, big brother will show you how powerful I am. Eat my black tiger steals the heart. In an instant, the dozen kids on the beach became a group. Each of them was like a humanoid dragon. Their strength was terrifying and their speed was unimaginable. The entire beach was filled with a foul atmosphere, and explosions could be heard everywhere. The sea in the distance was shaken to the sky. What should we do? Seeing this scene, Tu Linglong was speechless. Forget it. Let them fight. This is a daily occurrence. Qing Wan said helplessly. In fact, this group of kids had been fighting ever since they were born. It would be news if they didn't fight for a day. Look, Dad is back. At this moment, Xiaoyu shouted. He noticed that a figure had suddenly appeared on the sea in the distance. A mature man walked over from the sea as though he was walking on flat ground. It was as though the power between heaven and earth had made way for him. This man was Xia Ping. It's really Dad. Dad is back. Hurry over. Dad must have brought back a lot of good stuff. Dad, you're back. A group of little boys and Lolas rushed up and pounced on Xia Ping. Some hugged Xia Ping's thighs, some hugged his hands, and some jumped on his head and shoulders. They surrounded him. You little guys, have you been obedient these few days? Did you fight? Xia Ping patted the heads of these little guys. Yes, of course we're obedient. Right, we're good kids. We won't fight. The group of kids said in unison. It's good that you're obedient. This time I entered the primal chaos and caught a chaos octopus. Tastes pretty good. I can barbecue it. Xia Ping smiled. Chaos octopus? What a strange creature. I still prefer the rainbow exquisite fruit that Dad brought back last time. No, the yin-yang whale is still the best. Its meat is delicious. No. The heaven-devouring crocodile is more delicious. The group of kids talked at once. Alright, if I catch it next time I'll bring it all back for you. Let's have dinner first. Xia Ping brought these little guys back. At night, they held an open-air dinner. The moonlight shone down and it was quiet and peaceful. It was as though this moment had turned into eternity. The book ended. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.